Hey, thanks for joining us here at noon. I'm Felicia Lawrence on the desk and meteorologist Sean Ash on the desk with us. And it is another warm day, just perfect.
Yeah, it is. It's warm, but it's not crazy humid. And, it's kind of where we should be.
Balance, a tinge of mildness.
It's going to feel warmer than it probably should because we've had this cool streak, however.
Okay.
But it's right where we belong. Let's show you the numbers here at this noon hour. We've got temperatures approaching 80 degrees. Keep in mind, average high is 83. So we're not far from that. And we are ahead of yesterday's pace that took us up to 82. 77 Fishers, Mount Comfort at 79 officially. Indianapolis Airport at 76 degrees. But just another picture-perfect day, in my opinion, around central Indiana at this hour with that sun. Compared to yesterday, we're anywhere from a degree or two to as much as 5 above that pace from yesterday. So we're going to forecast high temperatures generally in the middle 80s. A few spots might be a couple degrees cooler. A few spots might be a couple degrees warmer. 87 Terre Haute, 86 Bloomington, 85 in Columbus. But the number that's important for you, dew points, still in the lower 50s. So the air relatively dry, pretty comfortable when you're in the shade. But if you were out in the sunshine, yeah, it's going to be warm. Here's your after-school sports forecast. Warm and mainly sunny. We're going mid-80s for today. We do have some rain chances to time out. We'll cover that coming up in the 7-day forecast.
And this afternoon, we're working to learn more about the moments leading up to this crash on I-65 near Washington Street. Our NDOT cameras caught the aftermath of the incident there on southbound I-65. As you can see, both cars in the shoulder. One appears to be flipped over with debris scattered throughout the roadway, also slowing things down. No word on any serious or life-threatening injuries. All lanes are back open now. Turning now to a death investigation after someone discovered a baby boy in an Indianapolis park. Investigators tell us the baby was found near Brookside Park. That's on the Near East Side near Rural Street. Police believe the child was less than 1 day old. Now investigators are working with the Department of Child Services and the coroner to determine what may have happened to this baby boy. Investigators are now reminding Hoosiers of Indiana's safe haven law. So it allows parents to surrender an infant anonymously and safely without fear of prosecution. Under the safe haven law, no personal information is needed as long as the child has no signs of abuse. All that's asked is you provide as much information about the child as you can, like date of birth, parent medical history, or any of the baby's health issues. All right, headed to the courtroom now, where a man allegedly connected to multiple shootings is in court for a plea deal this afternoon. It's a murder case raising concerns about repeat offenders getting back on the streets. 22-year-old Jeremiah Hubbard agreed to plead guilty to the murder of 20-year-old Brian Ward Jr. and the attempted murder of Asati Robinson. These two shootings happened weeks apart in January of 2023. Robinson was shot multiple times January 7th. Court docs say Robinson felt threatened after he witnessed his mother being shot and killed 2 months earlier. Police say Hubbard's brother is the one who killed her. Then Hubbard was arrested for unlawful possession of a handgun by a convicted felon at a North Side apartment complex a few weeks later on January 26th. But he was released on a $150 cash bond despite being on probation. Hubbard allegedly returned to those apartments just days later to kill Ward Jr. on January 30th of 2023. Now he's pleading guilty to both shootings and could spend up to 45 years in jail. We have more on this situation, plus the Marion County prosecutor's statements on why Hubbard was offered a low bond. That's on WTHR.com. Attorneys in the Delphi murder case are asking for more time to piece together an appeals case. One reason? Richard Allen's move to Oklahoma. Allen was convicted of killing Libby German and Abby Williams in November. His appeal is currently due next week. But Allen's attorneys say there is a lot of information and evidence to go through, and they've only been able to talk to Allen once. So they're requesting an extension, noting that they're also spending time on Allen's transfer to a prison in Oklahoma. They may have to travel there to meet with him. They say scheduling any visit has been slow. And we've been covering this case for more than 8 years now. Just scan this QR code you see and it'll take you to a link of our coverage. That way you can get all the latest information and a lot of details. That's at WTHR.com/Delphi. Indiana teachers are using an upgrade to a familiar system this school year, and it's from the Department of Education. It helps track documents of students with special needs, but the rollout has many teachers frustrated and behind on work. This is a new integrated system called Power School, and it tracks individualized education programs, which is also known as IEPs. IEPs are documents teachers use to adjust plans and classrooms for students with things like autism or if they have ADHD. Teachers say the rollout is frustrating, noting that it used to take about 2 hours to fill out the paperwork, but now it can take 4 to 6 hours. A special education director in northern Indiana helped set up the new system, and she says right now some districts are having to deal with old duplicated information.
Like a single entry for a single parent, making sure they're the legal designee, making sure they can receive mail, making sure they have an email if they will do digital signatures or if they want things electronically.
Each record could take up to 15 minutes to clean up, each record, I should say. And at that time, it stacks up. The time stacks up with districts like IPS with thousands of students. West also tells us the state is offering resources to help teachers in the logging process. We have more details on those resources right now on WTHR.com. Well, our Indiana lawmakers are waiting to learn if they will be headed back to the State House for a special session. All of this depends on whether the governor decides if lawmakers should redraw the maps of Indiana's congressional districts. 13 News State House reporter Emily Longnecker spoke with an Indiana political expert about what's next, and he says we could be in for a legal fight.
My guess is we're going to see a special session coming.
Paul Helmke teaches at IU's O'Neill School of Public and Environmental Affairs. He expects Governor Braun will call a special session. But the question is when. Governor Braun has said he's waiting to hear from state lawmakers about whether they think redrawing Indiana's congressional district maps is the way to go before he calls a special session.
They might strategically say we're going to hold this off to later. And then, it's going to be a little harder to have it challenged in court.
Democratic state lawmakers have said they'll challenge any new maps, arguing that drawing new districts to try and gain 2 more Republican seats in Congress would disenfranchise minority voters who elected Congressman Andre Carson and Frank Mervan, both Democrats.
The courts have said that if you are intentionally diluting the minority vote, the black vote in this instance, then you can run afoul of the Constitution. So that would probably be the strongest argument, depending on how the districts are drawn, that challengers could make.
But Helmke predicts Republicans will argue that's not their intention.
What states that have done redistricting have argued is that, no, we didn't do that for racial reasons, we did that for political reasons. And the court basically has said, well, if you tell us that you did it for political reasons, that you wanted to dilute the Democratic vote, that's okay.
Helmke says he's seen some of the proposed maps and says nowadays the work is done by consultants with computers.
It's become a lot more sophisticated. You can almost draw the lines so you're picking up this house on the block, but not the next house.
Helmke, a Republican, calls what's being considered rare and says it concerns him.
This is no way to elect officials. I mean, the line is we should have the voters selecting the elected officials, not the elected officials selecting their voters.
Emily Longnecker, 13 News.
And Emily goes a bit deeper on the redistricting efforts in the most recent episode of Crossroads Politics, which you can watch it now on WTHR Plus. It is free on your streaming devices.